Hi guys, welcome back to today's class. So in our last class, we did introduction to Photoshop. So today we're going to be talking about color theory and fonts in Photoshop. Okay, we get to understand how we use colors and fonts when designing. Understanding colors in design. All right, so color is one of the most important, powerful tool in design, and it helps tell a story, show emotion, and make design look exciting or calm. All right, so color shows emotion. All right, we don't just use it just to make things colorful or beautiful. All right, it also shows emotion and then makes your design look exciting or calm. All right, so there is something known as color harmonies in design, which this color harmonies basically means how color works together. So, color harmonies are a combination of colors that look good together and create a sense of balance. Sometimes you might just see two colors and you're just like, okay, I like this color, this color, this color. Let me just use it. But then, does it create a sense of balance? It might not. All right, so let's see how we can get to choose colors that actually makes sense. Okay, so the color we have right here comprises of the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, and you can think of them like color friends. Some colors work well as a team and some don't match at all. So the first color harmony that we have here is known as complementary colors. And these are opposite each other on the color wheel. Example, we have red and green, blue and orange, and yellow and purple. All right. So for complementary color, how it just works is in the color wheel, all right, you just pick two colors that are just opposite to each other. That is how the complementary color works. Okay, so I can decide that if I'm making a design now, I can decide to use red and green. I know that, okay, if I use this color, it goes well together and creates a sense of balance. All right, these complementary colors, they create strong contrast and make design pop. So if you want to make a design that pops, you can decide to use the complementary color. Okay, so we have another one known as analogous color, and we say that these are next to each other on the color wheel. Okay, so complementary opposites, but this one is just colors that are next to each other. All right, example, we have red, red orange, and orange color here, or yellow orange, yellow, and yellow green. Okay, they create a soft pleasing look. All right, so if you're making a design, you can decide to use this complementary color for your design, whereby you just pick three colors that are next to each other in the color wheel. So the next one is tragic colors. And we say that these are three colors spaced evenly on the color wheel like a triangle. Okay, so for me, just draw a triangle in the color wheel and whichever place it falls into, all right, you pick the color. Example, we have red, blue, and yellow. Red, blue, and yellow. All right, or you could have purple here, okay, orange, and green. Okay, so you see, you could use green, purple, and orange color. All right, they feel balanced but colorful, like a cartoon or fun flyer. So you could actually use this when you're making a design or a flyer that has to do with children. Okay, you could use this because they are very colorful. All right, so the next one is monochromatic colors, and we say that these are shades and tints of one color. Example, light blue, medium blue, dark blue. Okay, so this is basically when you just pick one color but then you use different shades and tints of that particular color. I can say, okay, I just want to use green to make this design, but then I get to pick different shades of green. Okay, I use light green, dark green, and medium green. All right, so I just use one particular color, but then I use different shades and tints of that one color. All right, it's clean, professional, and then easy for you to control. All right, so we have split complementary. Remember that we say that complementary are opposite each other. Okay, so for split complementary is a base color, all right, the two colors next to its opposite. So you pick a base color and then the two color next to its opposite. So if it was split complementary, we would have just picked this particular color right here. Okay, but since it's split complementary, we'll pick the one that are next to it. All right, pick the ones that are next to it. Okay, to its opposite. All right, example, we have this blue, all right, red, orange, and yellow, orange. Okay, like this one, red, orange, and yellow, orange. So if I pick like this blue right here, okay, this is what I was supposed to pick, all right, this orange color, if it was complementary, but since it's split complementary, I pick the red orange and then the yellow orange. Okay, so offers contrast without being too loud. All right, so now that we have seen which colors goes well together using color harmony, but here's the thing, all right, even if you pick the right color, your design can still feel messy or too loud if you don't use them in the right amount. Okay, so that is why designers follow a simple rule to keep things balanced. It is called the 60-30-10 color rule. All right, and it helps you decide how much of each color to use so your design feels balanced and beautiful. Okay, so let's get to understand what the 60-30-10 color rule means. So the 60-30-10 color rule is a design rule, all right, used by designers to create beautiful and balanced color combinations. It helps you decide how much of each color to use in your design. Okay, so 60% here is known as the dominant color. All right, it is the main color. So this is the base or the biggest part of your design. It sets the mood and is often used for background or large areas. All right, most of the when you're making a design, all right, the background color makes up the 60%. All right, that I'm talking about, because that is usually the biggest color. Okay, then we have the 30%, and we say 30% is the secondary color. All right, this adds interest and supports the main color, used for elements like images or side panels. Okay, I will use this flyer right here to explain this later. So we have the 10%, which is the accent color. All right, this is the color that pops or grabs attention, used for buttons, highlights, or focal points. So back to this, okay? In this design right here, right, you can see that this color right here, all right, in the background, this is the 60%. This is the biggest color in this design, and it is the background color. So this is the 60%. Okay, then this is the 60%. Then the 30%, okay, is the test color, which is the black color right here. All right, is the 30%. Then you could say that the 10%, okay, is like just extended now that they put right here. All right, you say that is the 10% or this color here. All right, so that is for the 60-30-10 color rule. All right, So now let's look at few ways we can apply colors in Photoshop. All right, so applying colors in Photoshop. The first one is your foreground color or background color. All right, so we have used this before in our design when we made the profile picture. If you can remember, or when we changed this and then use the paint bucket to fill our background color. Okay, so this is another way, one way we can apply color in Photoshop. The next one is the eyedropper tool. All right, it selects colors from your canvas or imported images. All right, so sometimes if you are designing and you're using any color palette for your designs, okay, you can use the eyedropper tool to pick the particular color that you want, all right, from your color palette, instead of choosing it from the fill color. Okay, then we have the fill tool or paint bucket tool, all right? So it fills an area with the selected foreground color. So how this works is, if you can remember what we did, you first of all change your foreground color, all right, to the color that you want. Then you pick the paint bucket tool, okay, and just fill the background with the color that you have selected, okay. So we have the brush tool, which paints with the selected color and brush style. It's kind of similar to the paint bucket tool, okay? You first of all select your colors from the foreground color, then use your brush to paint where you want to paint, okay? So we also have adjustment layers, which uses a hue and saturation, color balance or gradient map to apply color effects. All right. We hardly use this particular one. So now that we have seen how colors set the moods of a design, let's talk about something else that also speaks without saying much. And this is known as fonts. All right. So we are done looking at colors. So why don't we look at fonts? So understanding fonts in design. So just like colors, fonts can feel fun, serious, loud, or calm. All right. The style of your text can change the whole vibe of your design. A font, all right, is a specific style of letters or characters. Just like your voice can be loud, quiet, playful, or serious. Font speaks in different ways too. Font helps us to show emotion, personality, and meaning in a design. So in design, all right, we call it font instead of letters, all right? That's the terminology that we use for letters, is font. Okay, so in Photoshop, all right, fonts are used anytime you see the text tool for writing names, title, quotes, or messages. All right. So now let's look at types of fonts and what they say. So the first type of font we are going to look at is serif font. All right, and serif fonts have little feet or lines at the edge of the letters. They look old, traditional, or serious. So now, if you look at the font that was used to write the serif font, okay, if you look at it closely, you will see that there are lines at the edge of the letters. There are lines at the edge of the letters. Okay, so this is what we mean by the tiny feet or little feet. Okay, example of this font, we have like Times New Roman. All right, this font is mostly used in newspapers, books, law firms. It is a formal font, so any designer has to do with any formal settings, you use a serif font. Okay, so the next one is sans serif font, and you say that sans means without, So these fonts are clean with no extra lines. It's basically like the opposite of serif font. Sans serif doesn't have any tiny feet at the edge of the letter. If you look at the font I was using to write this, you will see that there is no lines, unlike the serif font. There is no lines in them. Okay, so example of those fonts, we have like Arial, we have Poppins, and so much more. It's mostly used for tech logos, websites, modern designs. All right, so it feels simple, neat, and modern. So if you look at like this free delivery right here, the fonts I was used to write this here are all sans serif fonts. The next font is script font. Okay, this font look like a handwriting. All right, they are soft and flowy. Just this is a script font is basically the font that was used to write this. Okay, if you look at this, you see that it looks like a handwriting. All right, and there are different types of script fonts. All right, you have like brush script, you have a lobster, and so on. It's mostly used for invitation cards, beauty brand, or a design that has to do with children brand. Okay, it feels fancy, elegant, and friendly. So the font that was used for this design now here, this fresh milk, is a script font. Okay, so the next one is display fonts. I will say that these display fonts are big, bold fonts, all right, used for titles and posters, not for reading long text. Okay, so whenever you need to make any design that has to do with advertising thing, the main heading, all right, or title of that design should be in a display font, so that once people just look at it, like it catches people's attention and people can easily read it in seconds. Okay, it's mostly used for ads, posters, YouTube thumbnail, and so much more. Just like this design that we have here, this kids coding bootcamp right here. This is a display font. Okay, so now we have learned how to choose the right colors, mix them using color harmony, and pick fonts that matches our mood. It is time to put all of that into action. Okay, so I would want us to make this design, this colorful design right here in Photoshop. So why don't we open our Photoshop? All right, let's get to work. Right here I have my Photoshop opened. All right, so we are going to click on new file right here. All right, once you click on new file, then I'm going to go to art and illustration. I want us to use a poster document size for this. So click on poster, then we'll click on create. All right, so this is what I have. Okay, so this is what I have right now. So now I need to import my background. Okay, a background image. So I'll click on file, place embedded, and then I'll look for it where it is. So this is it right here. So I'll click on it. So it's important right now. Okay, so I'll click on this good. So I'll move it up here like this, and I'll drag it from the down part. Okay, so I'll go to shift key and stretch it. So yeah. So now I have my background image. Okay, so I want to add some clouds. All right, so this design, so I could go back to file, place embedded. So I'm going to use two different clouds, this one and this particular black hole. So I'll just click get this one. So if you look at this, this came with a background color which I do not want. And thank God it's a solid color, so it will be very easy for us to remove. So I just need to do is just click on this, all right, then get my eraser tool. Remember to rasterize. So I'll right click on the layer and rasterize layer. So click on this, click, click. So just like that, I've removed the background color that came with it. So now let's reduce the opacity. So I will reduce the opacity how I want it. So I'll place this one somewhere here. Then I'm going to press Ctrl J to duplicate. So I'll place this one here. Reduce it. I don't want them to be the same size. Reduce it a bit like this. So I'll accept this and then go back to file to get the second cloud. I'll get this one. So we'll do the same thing that we did for the other one. Get it. Our eraser tool. Right click to rasterize layer. Then remove. Remove. Don't click inside because if you click inside, you remove it also. Control Z. So don't click inside. Remove this part. I remove this part. So I also reduce the opacity. So I'll place this one somewhere here. Then I'll press Ctrl J to duplicate it also and bring it here. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this like this. So now let's get to the test part. So now let's add our font, our test. So we get a test tool. I'll get it. And then I'll click and I'll type. So the first word should be D. Okay, so I've typed D. I would accept that. Okay, so you change your font. You change your font to this font right here. ICIEL Pafico. This is a script font, so change your font to this. Okay, then we'll change the color. We'll change the color to black. Click OK. Alright, so now I'll drop this. So I'll place this here and then move this a bit somewhere here. So now I'm going to duplicate this particular text right here. So I'll do Ctrl J. Alright, so I've duplicated it, so I'll bring it down. Alright, so what I'm just going to do is just to double click on this so that it will enter editing mode. So I'll double click. So the more, so I'll type more. I would accept. Okay. Then get my type. So I should change the color first. So I change the color of this to purple. So I just pick this purple here. Yeah, and leave it like that. So I'll duplicate the text again. Ctrl J. Okay. Bring it down. If your double clicking is taking time like mine, this is another way you could also do it. By coming here, then you pick the text tool. Okay. And you see you can edit. So if I just come here, then remove this, and I was like, the more you so I'll change the color to black. Okay. So because I've not accepted it, that's why. So accept before you change the color. Okay. So I drop my tool again. Ctrl J. Bring it down. I'm still going to arrange this. So get my type tool. And then the more you practice, okay, so I want to change the color. Well, I have to accept first, then change the color to blue. Not this type of blue. Okay. So Control J. bring it down, and then get your type tool and you type. The more you practice, the the I'm still going to change the font size, but I just want to type it all first before I do that. Or should I even change it now? No, let's type first, then we'll change the font size. So drop your tool, then Ctrl J to duplicate, bring it down, and then get your text tool, the better. Okay, so change the color to red. So I should pick this red, right? Let me see what I have. Did not change because I did not accept. Okay, so drop my tool, Ctrl J, bring it down and type the better you get. Accept, change the color to yellow. Okay. So yeah, so now it's time for us to change the font size. So I want the font size to be 159. Enter. So I want to make like the bigger text to be 159, then the word D, U and D will be 105. So I'll come to my layer, just click on better text, also change that to 159, enter. Okay, so I'll come to the D. So the D is going to be 105. So practice would be 159. Then U will be 105. Then more will be 159. Then the D will be 105. All right, so now I'll drop my tool and it's time for us to arrange it. Okay, so Make sure this is in the middle already. If your ruler isn't showing, press Ctrl R, alright, or come to the window. So let's get our image. Our image came with a background color and we just want it to be transparent. So let's remove the background color. So we get our eraser. See what happens if I don't rasterize first. Magic eraser tool. You see, it's telling me the smart object must be rasterized. But if I just click OK, then it will rasterize. So that's why we rasterize it first. So I just click on that and just like that, I remove the background image. Okay, so yeah, so now I can remove my ruler. So just like that, look how well you just made a colorful design, motivational design. The more you practice, the better you get. So the more you practice Photoshop, the better you get. Okay, so this is it for today. Right, so I'll see you guys in our next class where I want you to make a colorful design for me. All right, that's for your mini project. So make a colorful design for me. So I'll see you guys in our next class. All right, bye guys.